This was the biggest motherfucker of my life. Now, before we begin, this is to be considered entirely fictional, based on a true story. Something imaginary. You can take whichever one you want, but this is my disclaimer. But for nearly a year, I dated a psychopath. A real one. Not the Hollywood type, not the movie villain type or anything like that, but she was consciously aware of the manipulation tactics, the coercion, and the mind games that she would play. She knew exactly what she was doing. Psychopaths have never developed the part of their brain which is responsible for empathy and feelings for other people. They're extraordinarily selfish, extraordinarily vain. By the way, I'm not saying any of this stuff out of hurt or anger or anything. If anything, I'm still to this day confused as to how I could be right in the middle of it and not notice it for what it was. In the end, after I called out this behavior and made it clear that I understood what was going on, I was discarded instantly. So now, you know, she was a pretty girl. You know, she was gorgeous. I mean, anybody in the world would be like, yeah, that's a pretty girl. And over time, I just found her so rotten and so selfish and so ugly. She would treat people like garbage. Respect is a big part of being in a relationship. If you cannot respect me, I cannot deal with you. I'm not attracted to you. You have to treat me good and look good. You know, I'm sorry if that's too fucking much, but that's the way it is. There was no bond, just attachment. And I would be left heartbroken and confused. And this person, just another fact in their reality, that I couldn't be manipulated any longer. Man, this shit's depressing. We're gonna make it a little lighter. I was obviously pretty tore up about it still at that time. There's a damn mosquito in here. It's already bit me a couple of times. I can't wait until I find that little son of a bitch. You know, all we would do is drink, fucking fight. Drink, fight, and fuck. Drink, fight, and fuck. Drink, fight, and fuck. That's all we would do. I would take us out once in a while, and then we'd drink, and then we'd come home and fight. And at the end of it, like, I could tell you, hour by hour, what the hell was gonna happen. Not too much backstory, but just to get our bearings, I left the United States in 2024 in November, and I drove here to Costa Rica, where I live currently. And so anyway, I met this girl on Tinder. Dude, I have always met the craziest freaking women on these sites. They're to be avoided at all costs, not the avenue. You know, about 2 months in, I meet this girl. We have our first date, and it was kind of weird, honestly. I felt like I was being scammed. She's freaking gorgeous. I didn't give a fuck. So after about a month of dating, we decided to make it official, a month and a half, which, by the way, we never held hands, kissed, hugged each other, nothing for that entire time. She was, by all definitions, the perfect woman. She was modest, dressed modestly, was reserved, spoke eloquently, had very few sexual partners. I mean, everything I could want in a woman. She cooked great, everything. So, you know, that was pretty good for a little while. A bit ditzy, a bit airheaded, a bit shallow, didn't really seem to be able to follow me into the depths or understand what I was saying. By the end of it, I was pulling my hair out. I could not stand this girl. I mean, what was seriously so wonderful at the beginning, she made my skin crawl by the end of this relationship. And I couldn't put my goddamn finger on what it was. But there was something off. There was something not quite right. It was perfectly obvious from very near the beginning that she was insecure and needed a lot of validation. I thought that's all it was, but this girl would ask me the same damn questions every day.
Porque me amas? Like, why do you love me? Porque me gusta tanto? Why do you like me so much? All this shit.
She would ask the same fucking questions all the time.
And it got to a point where I was just like, you already know. It's all this obvious.
I've already told you a million times.
Millones. And, dude, oh my fucking God. That shit used to get on my nerves. I'm not that guy. I cannot waste half my day giving you reassurance and validation. Like, you've got to be secure with me or you got to go. Because I have shit to do. And, well, I mean, I didn't really have anything to do, but when I like doing something, leave me the fuck alone. Like when I'm painting, for instance, she would grab me and jerk me around while I'm painting. Dude, get the fuck off me. It just got to a point she was just so bothersome. I couldn't sit down and fucking play guitar for 3 seconds without her coming over, hugging me, interrupting the whole thing. It used to piss me the fuck off. Which, again, was exactly what she wanted. She wanted to get off on my pain. I mean, she really would. She was saying some things that were so awful to me one night. I mean, dude, I'm not like on the verge of tears. And she is smiling and having a great time. I'm just sitting there thinking, how in the hell can you do that? You told me that you loved me today, like 5 minutes ago. How the fuck can you do that to me? She would do this all the time. Because that's what she got off on, is that sense of control, that sense of power. And that's what people like this need. That's what they have to regulate their emotions. There's no excuse for it. And that's what it is. That's the way these people are wired. She lies and manipulates and outsources her emotional regulation to other human beings. That's just what they do. They treat other human beings as pure objects. They do not care about you. They do not give a fuck about you. But they're really, really good at performing like they do. They know exactly how to perform to get the kind of reaction that they want from you. It's confusing, exhausting, and toxic. From the start, I noticed that she doesn't really connect the way that an ordinary human being does. I could say something or express a feeling that I had, and it's like it just didn't exist for her. At the very beginning, something was off, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Later on, she would consistently cross my boundaries. I had to tell her 1,000 million times, don't do this, I don't like that. Don't do this, I don't like that. About the same damn thing. And I should have left then. That's what I should have done. But I put up with it and because I thought maybe she would get it one of these days. But no, that's what they do. And it's not just psychopaths who do this. 25 to 30% of the population could be considered incurably toxic in that they will lie and make things up when they're bored. If the tension isn't high enough, if things are too calm, if there isn't any drama, they will create it, both men and women. So it's not exclusive at all to women. Psychopaths are about 1% of all women and about 3% of all men and about 30% of all people in prison. You set a boundary, they push it and watch you get pissed off or sad or whatever, and that's what they get off on. That is what they have to have. And she would look so sad, and she would be so sincere looking with her apologies, and the behavior never changed. Never changed, never got any better. So I guess that's my fault for sticking around as long as I did. But I wanted to make it work with her. I'm telling you, I wanted to marry that girl at one time. And God, if you're listening, thank you. So I almost asked her twice. But before every time the night before I would ask, she would fight with me or whatever, or pick a fight for no goddamn reason. Specifically, she would get drunk and talk about her ex-boyfriends for hours and hours and hours and compare me to them and do all this stuff. I hated that. I told her to stop doing that. I can't tell you how many times. She'd do it in the bed. Well, touching me. Well, like touching me, you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? I was told one time that she wanted to be a porn star. I was told another time that she wanted to fuck a black dude just out of the blue. And just like, what the fuck, dude? You know what I mean? Like, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But like, what the fuck? Now, it's a free world. I mean, you can fuck whoever you want to as long as consent is involved. Whether or not I'm going to stick around afterwards is another story. Now, while I'm polite and a little too damn patient, there will come a time when I finally say, you know what, dude, enough is enough. Like, I've had enough of this shit. And, you know, she's a hot girl. She'll find a guy, some simp that'll allow himself to erode himself, and she'll get what she wants. Eventually, one of these days, I hope, or I think, well, I can't say I hope. But anyhow, and not for him anyway. If there was any possibility of making the shit work with her, I would have done it. And then one night, she catches, no, here's what happened. The night before, I had been alone at my house, and I had pretty much given up on this relationship. I started texting some girls on Facebook. She comes over the next night. She waits for me to go to sleep, and then gets into my phone and starts looking for this shit. She did that all the time. I can't stand that either. Although that time, she was right to have suspicion. She was never right, and none of the other women have ever been right when they've done that shit. But dude, I was already, 1 foot out of here. We had already broken up, on again, off again type shit. I had had enough at that time. So anyway, yeah, she caught me doing that. And then, she broke up with me. That was the first time that had happened. Usually it's me breaking up with her. Honestly, guys, I would do that just to get some damn peace and quiet. Just to be able to focus on painting or my YouTube channel or whatever. So she takes off. I don't see her for like a few days. She's not contacting me or anything like that. I'm like, oh, okay, this is pretty serious. So I hit her up, and I'm like, hey, can we talk? Like, do you want to come over and just chit-chat or whatever? And she came over and she started doing the same shit, pushing my buttons. I'm painting. She's grabbing me and doing all. And so what do? They resume doing all of the things that I had told them would absolutely result in losing me completely. And she just couldn't stop or wouldn't stop. I think it was wouldn't. She knew exactly what the hell she was doing. It drove me nuts. I was expected to give her my 110% undivided attention when she was here. And fuck that, dude. I'm an autonomous person. She's not. She has to get her validation through another person, or she doesn't even feel like she's real. But I like to be by myself. I like to be in peace and quiet. I like to not be bothered. And that was never going to work, and never in hell going to work for me. At first I did it, pretty much. I was really into her. I was infatuated. But then there came a time where it's like, hey man, I need to start doing something. So I started painting. I made a new YouTube channel. And I'm telling you, I'd be recording a video talking, and she just, dude, it drove me fucking crazy. It drove me so crazy. I literally almost went insane through this. Because every boundary that I would try to set never landed, never mattered. And all of these things would happen in a very predictable pattern. Once a week, literally once a week, around about the same time, I would be accused of somebody saw me at some bar with some girl. At the time, I hadn't gone to bars in months. And then I would be expected to, I don't know, defend myself or whatever. I stopped doing that later on because I realized it was just a bunch of nonsense. But, you know, at first it's like, no, God, no, I wasn't doing that shit, you know? It's just another game that she played. She could not stand tranquility at all. If there wasn't some drama, some noise, something going on, she would invent it. And so I would be trying to, you know, have a nice calm night or something, and she just could not stand that and had to pick a fight. It was the most fucking bizarre thing ever. Literally everything was a performance. Literally everything. The quote-unquote affection, the I love yous, the food, the cleaning the house, all of that stuff served an end purpose of making her feel better about herself. And nothing else. I felt so disrespected. I can't tell you how many times I asked her, I said, you know, fucking respect me. Respect me. Respectame. And I don't know why I put up with that for so long. That would have saved me a lot of trouble if I'd just been like, she can't respect me. Because, dude, how basic is that? If you can't be respected anywhere by anybody, leave. And so I was taken up on the offer to chit-chat. Well, she comes over, I'm painting, like I told you, and all that stuff's happening. I mean, at one point I got up, and we had like 2 beers or whatever, we weren't drunk. I got up, took my guitar to my room, and closed the door so I could have something to do by myself. It's like, dude, you're bothering the shit out of me. So, what does she do? Opens the door and comes in the room and sits right next to me and starts touching me again. Oh my God, dude, oh my God. I'm fucking livid at this point. And so she did that 2 or 3 times on top of interrupting me painting at least 9. And I was like, look, this just ain't gonna fucking work. Like, it ain't. I'm so sorry, but it's just not. So after that, she kind of goes in the kitchen for a little bit. I'm in the hallway. She comes in the hallway and she asks me, she's like, do you love me? You know, we're speaking Spanish, but she's like, do you love me? I said, listen, I got love for you, but I don't think I'm in love with you. And that was the one time that I've ever seen a tear come out of her eyes. Just one. Right side. Because she knew she had lost her device. After that happened, I never heard from her again. She blocked me on everything, never heard from the girl ever again. Because once they break that attachment, it's broken forever. So at the very beginning, when I first started, you know, kind of researching into this, trying to look into what in the hell was going on, I at first came to the conclusion that she simply had an anxious attachment style, and that I should try to appease that as much as possible. Oh, and she still owes me $60 that she borrowed. And make a schedule with her and try to make her feel better and all this other stuff. And then it finally got down to the point where I had enough data to pretty much be absolutely certain she was doing this shit on purpose. There are some people who don't do it purposefully, and they are not psychopathic. It was malevolently manipulating the emotions of another person for their own personal benefit, and she knew exactly what the fuck she was doing. I felt like I couldn't think. I couldn't get 5 minutes of peace and quiet. I couldn't focus on what I wanted to focus on. I couldn't play guitar. I couldn't record videos. I couldn't do art. Because I had somebody over here fucking with me. Just like that. Like, just like that. God, it drove me so fucking crazy. I had to hug that girl at least like 200 times a day. I'm not fucking kidding. I'm not kidding. Dame un abrazo, dame un abrazo, dame un abrazo. Like 200 times a day, dude. And she'd always, like, while I'm doing something, she'd be like, dame un abrazo. Porque, like, because I am a fucking tool, man. I'm not a human being. I'm not somebody worthy of love. She doesn't know how to love. She does not have that capacity. So I was literally like a service dog, if you want to think it that way. If the service dog is not performing the service, you replace it with another service dog. The purpose of the service dog is to serve. The purpose of me was to serve her with emotional regulation. And it drove me motherfucking crazy. They will not have anything to do with you. They will discard you. and move on to the next one. So whoever you are, man, all I can say is good luck. And so that, in a nutshell, is my experience, first experience, and hopefully the last, with dealing with that sort of thing. Or you could think of a tool. Maybe you're a carpenter with a drill. The damn drill goes bad. You can't fix it. You just throw it out and get another drill. That's just how it is. I mean, there's no remorse. There's no feelings in that whatsoever. No feelings in that whatsoever. She had no remorse for that. She didn't have to go through anything. Don't stick around. I'm telling you, don't stick around. You want to. They get you hooked on them. They spike your dopamine, and then they withdraw and pull away from you and talk all this shit and fuck with you. And then they do it again, and it puts you in this cycle. It is exactly like a drug. Addiction. They get you hooked on them. They're so wonderful on the outside. And on the inside, it's just a system of levers that they're trying to pull. It's the way that they regulate themselves. That's all it is, and nothing more. Don't read into it. There's nothing to read into. They do not experience emotions the same way as most human beings. I don't know if we can say that they don't have any. They don't have any outside of themselves. The only emotions that they have or can experience are self-centered. I'm not moralizing that, it's just what it is. So I was physically assaulted no less than 3 times during this relationship. One of those I got on video, but I never did anything with it. And then, what else? Just the lies and the stories and the just pure manipulation and mind games and fuckery, dude. Like, oh my God. I feel a little bit weak saying that this affected me as much as it did, but I'm telling you, dude, unless you've been through some shit like this, you don't have a fucking clue what I went through. That shit was fucking mind fuckery. Anyway, I'm glad it's over. Anyway, Natalia, thank you very much for the life lesson. I had no idea people like you existed. You won't understand this anyway, because you never paid attention in the English classes I would do for you. But anyway, thank you for that. Thank you for my Spanish. I appreciate that. And it was fun for a little while until I figured out what the fuck was going on. So, it always felt weird. Always kind of felt hollow. Fuck it, I won't spare any details. We hadn't had sex in about a week. As soon as she sat down, dude, I've never seen somebody come so hard in my life. One right after the other. It was 3 times. It was fucking crazy. But it just wasn't even good, man. I felt so hollow and so empty after. Her eyes always had this weird combination of hunger, intensity, and nobody home. It was really bizarre to see. And you would think, man, that somebody after having a sexual experience like that would create a little bit of closeness. No. Now, this person, if I remember correctly, in this dream that I had, or in this story that I'm making up, is around 30 years old, a little older. Very vain, very beautiful. Name starts with an N, I think. 1 child, still lives at home, and lives very, very close to Tierra Centro. And she may or may not look exactly like this.